You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
We're excited to kick off the third annual LawnTOURpreneur series and highlight some of the best and brightest up-and-comers in the lawn and landscaping industry. We're interviewing 6 LawnTOURpreneurs from across the country and highlighting their success as we share their inspiring story with you. Thank you to this year's sponsors, Yardbook, Equip Exposition, and Staybill for partnering with us on this exciting tour. Don't forget to check out the correlating equipment tour video for each guest on the Brian's Lawn Maintenance YouTube channel, dropping each Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
All right, guys, we're jumping right on into it here. Hanging here today with my boy, Riley Murray. Hanging out here, RL&L, Lawn and Landscape. Got it right there on the truck. Got it right the first time.
Yep.
Not too bad, man. How's everything going with you?
Pretty good. Last week was pretty hectic with all the rain, but we got them done on Friday. So
I was going to say, for anybody who doesn't know, that's not in Michigan, talk to them about the rain that we had. That was crazy.
For sure. So we had a hurricane, or we didn't have a hurricane, but there was remnants of a hurricane that came up here, and we definitely got our fair share of rain. I know on the east side of the state, they got 3-4 inches. Over here, we only got 1.5 inches.
Still a lot, though.
Yeah, but even in the weeks prior, like, we were still getting rain.
It's been such a saturated summer. Like, I feel like we've never got out of the spring rush with rain. I saw a reel. It was one of those comedy ones. It was like from Tropic Thunder. No, it was like Tom Hanks or something, like Saving Private Ryan. Is like, one day it started to rain, then it didn't stop raining for 40 days. That's basically what it's been up here in Michigan. We got about 4 or so inches over on the east side of town, and the lawns are so saturated, double cuts, triple cuts, pretty much same stuff you guys are dealing with?
Yep.
Yeah, gotta love it, man. Gotta love it. Well, dude, we're jumping on into it here. We've got the one of the inaugural teenager tour visits that we're doing here for 2024. Super excited about coming on the road and getting to hang out with all of you guys. Great shop tour setup that we just got done filming. I'll give you guys a little bit of context. We're hanging in Riley's barn right now. Was Grandpa's barn? Or
Uncle's.
Uncle's barn. Beautiful barn. What is this? Probably 40 by 60, 40 by 70?
Yeah, that's about what it seems. Yeah.
Something like that. Looks a little bit longer than the one I built. About the same width, but maybe 50 by 80, 40 by 70. Beautiful barn. I'm looking at a Skag Windstorm, 3 X marks, a SureTrack trailer, plows. He's got beautiful trucks. Dude, you've got it going on, brother.
Thank you, for sure. I take a lot of pride in my work, and this is just what I love doing, so I'm just running with it.
Man, it's a great setup. Super proud of you, super excited for you, and even more to come, you know. I was going to say, let's take it from the top. For people who don't know you and don't know your background, give them like your name, your stats, your background, how old you are, and maybe just what your business looks like today, and then we'll kind of break some things down.
For sure. So my name is Riley Murray. I started my business in 2021. You can follow us on Instagram. There's actually just documented pictures of when we started the first lawn, the first time I cut it.
Yeah.
So it's just been a crazy journey. I started it when I was, I want to say 17.
Okay.
I was hassling my mom on the deck. We were arguing pretty loud over me being able to wagon the lawnmower down Port Sheldon here in Hudsonville.
There you go.
And she wasn't having that. But after like an hour of arguing, I finally got her to commit. I got the neighbor to actually bring me over there in his truck.
No kid.
So we went over there and started advertising. I was like, Mom, you're not going to believe it. We got a lawn.
No kid.
So
okay.
And then from there, they were very ecstatic and very helpful in my business, and they let me use their lawnmower. I even had to put a lawnmower in the back of my mom's car. She wasn't too happy about that. My mom's very neat, so that was a stretch.
I was saying, I pulled up to your home. Looks immaculate. I mean, beautiful front landscaping.
Thank you.
Probably the back landscaping too, I would imagine too. But so what was the argument getting started with business? Was it like safety, or that's fair? God bless the parents.
Yeah, for sure. She was just so worried about the lawnmower breaking down. She's like, my lawn needs to get cut. Like, what happens if it breaks down? How are you going to pay for it? Because at the time, I mean, I didn't have much money. I had like maybe $300 to my name.
Right.
So it was a stretch for her, and she never really saw it. But now, 3-4 years later, going on my 4th season now, we've really come a long way.
You're telling me, man. I think equipment-wise, you have just as much or more crap than I do, which is just incredible. I always say you guys inspire the snot out of me because I'm trying to catch up to all of you guys. People are like, Fullerton, I want to be like you. Well, nobody says that. Maybe like 2 people say that. But anyway, I look around. I'm like, I want to be more like Riley, man. You got some great X Marks, the Skag, the SureTrack. You got the new Redmax EBZ 9000. Mm-hmm. Dude, you got it going on, man. You got to be excited. So how did you get from your mom and you guys having a fun exchange about you cutting grass to getting here today? I mean, tell me about that story. What did you think when you were first getting that first lawn?
For sure, yeah. I was on top of the world at that time. A string trimmer was a big deal at that point.
Oh, yeah.
But from there, I mean, I just found a little 5x8 trailer. I painted it up. And I put the push mower on there for the longest time. And then as that one customer developed, it turned into 2, 3. And then that next summer I had like 5. And we just went from there, buying equipment, backpacks, blowers. Then that following summer, I was like, okay, I want to do this.
Okay.
So I bought a truck.
Yeah. First car, probably.
No.
Oh, okay.
Not my first car.
Oh, wow.
So it was just a blue Chevy 1500.
Okay.
So I just pulled around this little 5x8 trailer thinking I was the shit back then. And we got work done by that.
Yep.
By the end of that summer, that was 2022.
Okay.
I probably had, let's say 15 customers.
Yep.
I became friends with a couple local lawn and landscapers, shoveled snow for them. Kind of got their insights on things, kind of took information, asked them questions, probably annoyed them more so than anything.
Hey, dude, ask questions. Like, more people need to ask more questions. I'm a big proponent of that.
Yeah, for sure. So I kind of just whizzed my way through that. And then I was in school cutting these lawns. That next summer, we had winter 2022, 2023. So I shoveled, did all that. And then that next summer, I had a buddy reach out to my brother saying like, hey, does your brother need any help? I hear he has a lawn care company.
Okay.
So from there, I feel like I just blinked and I was like, okay, like I'm going, like we're going all in. So I got a white truck. I bought another mower. I was like, okay, we're going to do this. And we did it. And we had a great summer. We had like 75 weekly lawns. And then
wow,
we really amped things up buying the windstorm. Then that same winter or that same fall, which had been 2023.
Okay.
And this year, we just really stepped our professionalism up. First year, full summer being out of school.
Okay, yeah.
So we don't have to like dwindle to school.
Right. How is it growing? Big question I get asked a lot from the parents. Believe it or not, a lot of folks email in. Hey, my son's crazy. He wants to cut grass, And I'm like, please just encourage him. You never know. Like, he could be the next Corey Ballard perfect cut. You never know. Growing a $20 million company. How is it from the kid side, the teenager side, the student side? Running, a lawn and landscape business while you're in high school or, some of the kids are in college, obviously. That's a lot. It's a big workload.
For sure, yeah. I never really liked school at all. I always knew I didn't want to go to college.
Okay.
My mom's actually a teacher, so she was like very set in stone on me going to school. So this lawn care thing on nights and weekends was definitely interesting for sure.
Shout out to mom.
Yep. And at first when I had like 15 clients, she wasn't too unsure yet. She was like, oh yeah, you're still going to college.
Yeah, okay,
and I was like, okay, mom.
Yeah.
And I saw the vision all along and then 2023 came and she's like, oh wow, he's really ramping this up. She saw the cash flow coming each month and she gained more confidence.
That's awesome.
And now she works part-time for me doing all the book work. So
no way.
Yep.
Wow, comes full circle.
Yeah.
She's probably like, hey, I'm going to help you organize this thing so you don't fall flat on your face.
Yeah.
Cash flow wise. I get that question a lot. You guys would be surprised maybe listening in. Maybe you guys wouldn't be surprised. I get parents, like I said, how is he going to make it? How is he going to make money? How is he going to pay for bills? How is he going to save for retirement? I'm like, your kid's got a $75,000 a year business. He's 17 years old. And I always say with total love and absolute, respect and admiration for the adults, but I'm like, are you making 75 grand a year? Or do you have a 50 grand a year income or business? Like, some adults aren't even there yet, and that's fine. Nobody's better or worse. I'm not judging. One time, it was a Quip Expo last year, 2 years ago. I had a lady literally come on stage, had two, like a 14-year-old son and a 16-year-old son, or whatever it was, and she's like, you need to talk these kids out of this. She goes, this is crazy. Like, I get it. But it's a fun side hustle, but they need to go to college. And I looked at her and go, why? I said, why do you want me to do that? I said, what's your concerns? And let's talk about it. And we had like this in front of 30 people, a little powwow, just like maybe your first conversation with your mom on the back deck. Mm-hmm. And she was like, well, they need to save for retirement. All the things I just talked about. I go, they can. I said, they can, they will. It's a real business. It's a real industry. It's a real trade. Like, they can make a go for it. It's going to take a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy, a lot of late nights. Has it so far?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's every day. Even when you're not working, you're working.
That's right.
Your brain is working for sure.
Or somebody's calling or emailing or a submission form. They want to know something or get something, right?
Definitely, for sure. Yeah. This year's definitely been a wild one for stress for me.
I feel the same way, brother. It's anytime you're trying to grow, there's always growing pains, right? One of those deals. So, and again, not that you were right or mom's wrong or mom's right and you're wrong. It's nothing like that. It's just everybody wants to do their own thing in life. And I think the biggest thing to put a little bow on that is the parents always want to know, like, hey, are you going to be self-sustainable, an actual income? Like, can you pay a mortgage off of this? Like, that's where most parents are coming from.
Yeah.
And I totally get that, totally respect that. I mean, I got little kids right now, and I'm already thinking to myself, I better like equip these kids to be self-sustainable, like productive little members of society. So how do you feel about that whole macro conversation?
For sure. I think it's actually a good thing that our parents are more so like, this is not going to work out, because it's more motivation.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
They're all like, oh, you got to go to college. You got to do this. You got to get a degree. Like, this is how you're going to make it. And
right.
You just want to prove them wrong.
I didn't say that out loud. You did, right?
Yeah,
so that's
for
funny.
sure.
I get some friends of mine that their parents were adamant that they still go to college. And I said, hey, dude, why don't you, I said, are you paying for college or are they? And he goes, well, they're paying for it. I said, why don't you come up with a proposal where they cash out half of what the college would have cost, and then you just go buy a dump truck and a mini skid or something like that. He's like, I never thought about that. I'm like, okay, good luck, high five. Let me know how that conversation goes.
Yeah.
But if you're going to put 50 grand, 100 grand, 200 grand into college, can you imagine what you can do with an extra 100 grand infused into your lawn and landscape business?
For sure, yeah.
I mean, for the love of God. I mean, you probably got a good 150, 200 grand worth of equipment here. That would be a game changer, a whole nother crew, a whole nother setup. You would double your business overnight.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't, for any of you parents listening in, I just want to maybe present the other side. Like, I don't think Riley or Asher Buersdorf or Connor or Jake Baringa, all these guys, these kids aren't always like the unicorn outliers. Like, this is good old fashioned America and the American dream. None of this was given. Was any of this given to you?
No, not at all.
So you guys can do it. You can choose a lot of good business and a good income before 18, 20, 25 years old.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, it's so awesome. So awesome. So that being said, it's fun. It's cool. It's a lot of work. Give me some lessons learned. What have you learned about yourself or about business or maybe about people along the way?
I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about people, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely say our quality of work kind of minimizes me dealing with people so much.
Oh, that's great.
Can you revamp what you just said?
I would say like lessons learned along the way, because you're 16, 17, 18, like you said, now dealing with the public, managing cash. Has it been as easy as you thought or harder than you thought?
Every year I think I tell myself, oh, I'm running a legit business. And the next year I'm like, oh, I'm really running a legit business this year.
I feel that.
This year I definitely say, definitely managing your time. The biggest thing for me is like, I get home from working all day and it's like the last thing I want to do is work on the business, but that's what I need to do.
Right.
If I really want to take this thing to the next level. So I think just instead of getting home, scrolling on Instagram, you get home, you get on your computer, you send emails, like, and I'm becoming more and more organized as I go, like setting up my calendar, getting this done. And I've learned too that like you can't schedule jobs. Like it just doesn't work.
Right.
Like it rains one day and it's like, oh, there goes my whole schedule.
Yeah. So organization is a huge thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's definitely played a big role now, I'd say, in helping minimize my stress. I don't think I've had as much stress as I've ever had this year.
Were you an organized person pre-business or has it made you a more disciplined individual, I guess?
I've always been really organized. I like nice stuff.
Yeah.
But I think having the business now, it's proven to me that like, hey, organization is like a really big thing.
So, totally. That's what I'm learning as I'm growing, through the higher revenue rungs myself. Like you have to be organized. I always say every 8 to 10 hours in the field is another half hour to an hour back at home in the office.
For sure. And I think that's another one of the biggest things is we have some nice equipment, but having that nice equipment helps us to be more efficient and achieve the revenue goals per employee in our business. And I feel like we're a pretty efficient company, and that's where I want to strive to be. I don't want to just add a bunch of employees and have 5 inefficient employees versus having one that makes $100,000 a year plus,
right,
and does me a number in profit.
So you're learning to treat your business like a real business, and is that with help of your mom running some of the books and maybe helping you pay attention to some of these things? Is that like you said, maybe being more legitimate, tracking more financials or QuickBooks? Like, what can you quantify that a little bit for me?
For sure. I've always been like very fascinated on the business aspect. Towards the beginning, it was more like equipment. Like you're kind of just encapsulating it. Like a Renmax blower is like the world. But
dude,
now
it's so crazy, isn't it?
But now it's just like, okay, that's a blower. I love equipment, but it's like, that's what it takes to get the job done.
There you go.
Managing your landscaping business just got easier with Yardbook, the trusted software solution for over 20,000 businesses in the landscaping industry. Yardbook is your all-in-one platform, having scheduled millions of jobs and processed millions of invoices seamlessly. Experience minimal downtime, an intuitive user interface, and the latest features thanks to Yardbook's commitment to rapid innovation driven by user feedback. Stay ahead of the curve and streamline your operations like never before. Discover the power of Yardbook today and see why so many landscaping businesses rely on it to manage their operations. Sign up now with the link in the podcast description and transform your business.
Do you feel like in your first couple of years you got stuck in one ditch or the other? Like, because I did for 10, 12 years. Look at the Exmark mowers, look at my stripes, look at my blowers. And somebody, my friend Mike Bedell, pulled me aside. He goes, hey, how's the back end of your business look like? And I'm like, what's that? And he goes, like your numbers, your financials, your QuickBooks. I'm like, what's a QuickBooks? I was 30 years old with no QuickBooks, no bookkeeper, no nothing. I mean, I hate to say it, at least it's my story. It is what it is. I own it. But my gosh, for you to have these kind of mature thoughts at 18 is just impressive.
For sure, yeah. I'm definitely invested in the backside of the business. Not as much as my mom. My mom more so does, more so like the insurance kind of things.
That's
like
cool.
A bunch of the paper stuff.
Love it.
I still do the invoicing. I like the software programs. I really like messing around with those.
Yeah.
Once I hit like 2 hours, I'm done.
You toast.
But yeah.
Fried. That's okay. Like you have a battery. We all have this battery. And sometimes the battery's full. Sometimes it's empty, and that's okay. Come back a couple hours later or after a nap, and usually you're recharged,
For sure.
What do you, if you don't mind me asking, like, have you used any technology in your business, like any apps or softwares? You can talk about anybody, I don't care.
For sure, yeah. I started off using just like Google Docs. I was printing invoices or whatever.
Okay.
And then I found your channel. I ventured into Yardbook, and that's been awesome.
Cool.
This spring, I tried LMN.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got super busy, so it kind of just didn't work out. I had to cancel it. I definitely think it's something I want to dive into in the winter.
Cool.
I just don't have the time to do the onboarding meetings.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was onboarding February, March, April. My opinion, horrible, worst time ever. But I punched through, and I'm glad that we did. But I probably have 40 or 50 hours into onboarding.
For sure.
Not gonna lie. Versus Yardbook, maybe take an hour or two.
It's a lot. It's legit, and it's a lot of money.
Yep.
I think you definitely got to be prepared to have that bill each month.
Yep.
But I think it's definitely the future.
Yeah, but I mean, a great thing is you got Yardbook now running your business, which is still professional by all means. I mean, I used Yardbook in 5, 6, 7 years, and we're doing $250,000, $500,000. I mean, it's a great platform. So any of you guys just looking to get started, it doesn't matter if you're 18 or 35 years old. By the way, Yardbook's a great start. A lot of folks graduate from Yardbook to maybe Jobber to an LMN, which is all awesome. It just depends on where your business is at and what your business needs. Right? So,
sure.
Dude, awesome. As you continue to grow this thing, let me ask you this. Here's where you're at today. What are you finding that you enjoy the most out of the business?
I definitely enjoy working in the field, and I definitely enjoy working out of the field. I enjoy both parts equally.
Okay. That's a struggle. Like,
yeah.
Not that you have to pick one, but go ahead anyway. Yeah.
I have highs, I have lows.
Sure.
There's definitely times where it's like, okay, I'd rather be working on the business. And as I'm starting to learn and as I'm growing as a person, I'm starting to get more invested in like, okay, the number side of things. Like,
sure.
Okay, how is this going to make me more money? How is this going to do this? And building a team around that.
Graduating and maturing and how you approach the company.
For sure.
Yeah. I think my favorite part of working on the business is end of month. Other than that, I'm just kidding. But the rest of the season, I'd rather be in the field. You know what I'm saying? Or the rest of the month, I'd rather be in the field, producing work, doing work, and get my hands dirty. I love slinging mulch and cutting grass. Hey, man. I love it. Well, let me ask you this. What's some things that I always try to ask? What are some things that you'd like to maybe leave the Riley of 4 or 5 years ago, or maybe just other peers getting into the industry? Obviously, you don't have it all figured out, but I'm sure you've learned quite a bit along the way. I know you have. What's some things that you wish you would have knew or did better or paid attention to maybe in the beginning? Or where do you think some of your peers might be missing it? And they're focusing on one thing, but it's really, you need to look at more of this.
For sure. I think you definitely get caught up in equipment when you're younger, and I think that's okay. As far as like producing work, I think it's very important to produce as much work as you can at the beginning by yourself. And once you hit your max point, then you grow. I think that's kind of the point where I'm at now. Just seeing like, okay, we got all this equipment. We're maxed out at 2 people. Like, what are we going to do? So I think the next step is to grow more. Yeah.
Maxing efficiency at every level.
Yeah, for sure.
Or every piece of equipment.
Yeah. And that's I think my biggest goal in the company. I don't want to have the most employees. I don't want to have I don't want to have tons of trucks, tons of trailers. I just want to run a business that all my employees are taken care of.
Yep.
And I know damn well every day I show up, those guys are going to do good work and they're paid well, and they're going to produce as much money as I can, or money for me as they can, and I'll reinvest that back into them for sure.
Love it, man. And you can tell. I mean, you guys have all the nicest equipment, the nicest brands, the nicest mowers, trailers, trucks, everything. I mean, it is a Chevy. I mean, it's okay, but I'm just giving you a hard time. I don't care who you are. It's fair play if you're on the podcast or YouTube. If you got a Chevy, I'm going to come after you, but I'm just giving you a hard time. But any which way, that's awesome, dude. I'm excited for you. Last thing I'll say is, where do you think you'll see this thing in another 4 or 5 years? I mean, imagine this. You're on the back deck with your mom and you guys are having a spat saying, I want to mow. And she's like, I don't want you to mess up our mower. And then look where you're at now. And again, you haven't arrived, but this is honestly, if you guys haven't watched the shop tour that's going to drop later this evening on YouTube, come check it out. Brian's Maintenance YouTube channel. It's one of my favorite ones that I've definitely done. The equipment, it almost looks like you're interviewing my business over here. Like same equipment, same trailers, same mowers. It's actually pretty canny. But would you have believed yourself if you would have said like, hey, I'm from the future. This is what your business is going to look like 4 years ago. So now imagine that same conversation again 4 years from now. Where could you be, right? So what do you think about those two thoughts?
Yeah, I remember a couple years ago, what I have now, I mean, I would absolutely lose my mind. I think it's definitely a crucial part to get, just think back to where you were and where you are now and just be happy with what you have, rather than just like, what's next? And everyone thinks that. I still think that to this day. But
we all do, yeah.
But just enjoying what you have, and life's short, so.
Yeah. Where do you think 4 years from you now, or 4 years from today, you will be at? What do you think? Same size, same whatever? Who knows?
No, I definitely won't be the same size. I definitely want to grow to be to the point where I can be like, okay, you can take a day off. I can take a day off. I can take a week off, you know?
Sure.
Whereas now it's just like bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
So I think I definitely want to grow to like a just under $1 million company, and then dial in right there.
Yep.
And
hyper profitable.
Yes.
Jeremy Connect, JJ Grounds, you know Jeremy Connect on Instagram, great guy. He's right there. They've got about 800 to a $1.1 million business. He's not necessarily in the field, but he is, selling work and coordinating everything. I remember you said you want to get out of the field a little bit on the YouTube video. And you can have 5 to 10 guys working with you and for you and have a great $1 million business and still keep it small, keep it manageable, and make $250,000 off of that company.
For sure. That's definitely my ideal goal.
I love that. And I think that's a sweet spot in self-employment in a small business. I think that's totally admirable. I think it's a great benchmark for anybody. It gets you out of the field, a little bit more time freedom, a little bit more flexibility. You can take a day. Not everything's make it or break it based on you,
Yep.
And if you have a guy that's out or down or quits, you're not totally screwed, where if you have a 3-person team and you lose a guy, well, now you're down 30%.
Yeah.
So sure. You need that extra bench strength, if you will. So one last thing I wanted to do is talk about these 2 vision statements in your workflow calendar. I know you're, like you said, you're getting more efficient in the business, more organized in the business. Some of it you took away from LAL. Our tickets are on sale for our conference. You came there last year. And I asked you in the video, and this wasn't staged or planned or anything like that. But I said, what are these? Look at these on the wall. This is pretty cool. And you had said they came from you taking action coming out of our conference from last year.
Yes.
I think it'd be a fun way to maybe land the plane here and end the show on a high note. Talk to me about these. These are really cool.
Yeah, for sure. So I went to Brian's conference, LAL, and I believe it was Jeff Joyner that said this. He said, not many people go home and actually take action. You get all hyped up. You're there for the 8 hours. You're like, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this, and this. But no one goes home and takes action. So that was my biggest thing, is thinking back from the conferences. Okay, I know I'm just going to be like just everyone else, and it's going to just fade. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to take something from this mission or take something from this conference and put it into life.
Love it. What can you read that from here at Riley's Lawn and Landscape?
Yeah, it says, at Riley's Lawn and Landscape, we prioritize leaders, not merely managing people, but inspiring the team to new heights. We not only promote the business, but also the people that make it happen, creating careers, not jobs.
That's awesome, dude. That's really, really cool.
Yep.
And who came up with that?
Well, I kind of just like pieced it together, and then I used my resources. I used
ChatGPT.
Yep.
Hell yeah, bro. So did we in the spring. That's when we created our vision and mission statement with ChatGPT's help, and we got our core values and what everybody liked, and then we had it actually make sense.
For sure, yeah.
Because I'm not a wordsmith, you know what I mean? So, and then over here is like a work flow or work schedule that you and the guys can always pay attention to.
Yeah, for sure. We just have like a little like shop to-do list.
Yeah.
Just if a plow is down and we need to get that fixed, just so we don't forget about it.
Right.
It's so easy to forget about things, especially when you got a million things on your mind. We just have some oil changes on there, equipment maintenance, what needs to be done, what's broken.
Love it.
Just so we can run to the store and grab it on spare time, because when that spare time is available, you got to take advantage of it.
Well, one thing I was getting lunch with a friend of mine, Matt McIntosh, Clippers. A lot of you guys know and saw Matt and know him regionally, locally. He's a great guy, great business, but they have a whiteboard that's got a running to-do list checklist for rain days. So like there's like the 10, 15 core things that can always get done. Like you said, blades, oils, truck oil, painting something, whatever. And then there's like the extra list that they write next to it, and they'll add a star for like maybe a one-off thing. Like you said, fix hydro hose, fix Skag windstorm nozzle. But they've always got their same top 10 checklist. So that way when there's a rain day, people don't need marching orders. They already know, okay, go through the regular rain day checklist. But then also if there's some one-offs, you can put that next to it. So something like that, whether you have a $5-10 million company like Clippers or whatever they're doing, or a couple $100,000 of your business like Riley's over here, it just, like you said, it's efficiency gained.
Yes, for sure. I'd say that's my biggest takeaway, and what I'm striving to do still is just take the crew that I got and maximize that as much as I can. Dude,
I love it. Last thing I say, or I'll ask, because I got to wrap it up 3 different times. It wouldn't be a Fullerton Unfiltered podcast without 3 endings, But let me just ask you, like, mindset, work ethic, education, training. I know you've came to LAL. Thanks for the plug. I owe you $20. Where have you learned the business? Where have you learned how to do all this?
For sure, yeah. I'd say YouTube. I started off on YouTube just like watching the Stripe videos. Like that's what I was fascinated in. And then as like content started to progress, like guys got getting better and better at like describing like how their business works. And just like everyone else, like you're wondering like, okay, how do you charge? How do you charge? And I know it's like really scary because it's like, okay, I don't want to be the low guy, but I don't want to be the high guy.
Right.
But I want to do well. And it's very scary, but I'd say YouTube. I mean, I've definitely,
Me too.
It's nuts how much stuff is out there and how much you can learn. When days I had like 15 lawns, it's like, I'm making more money than people would just working like a regular job. I mean, I wasn't making, but like 20, 30 grand a year.
Wow.
Like in a revenue perspective.
Right.
But I would just watch videos. And then now as I'm growing, I'm starting to become more friends with like owners of business around here, because they're like, oh, wow, this kid's like, he's taking it serious. He's not lowballing me. He's not doing this.
Right.
So there's a few local companies like Rush Creek.
Okay.
I met him not too long ago. So that's really nice to just bounce back and just kind of feel like, okay, where he's at, where he's going, and we kind of just work together.
Love it, dude. Love it. I'm right there with you. Late nights right now, I have watched every single salt video in the top 10 listings, 20 videos a listing, 10 listings deep on the YouTube search about salting, spreaders, boss everything, doing my research. Every video is 5 minutes or 20 minutes or a minute and a half. I've watched all of them so I can learn the difference between auger versus pintle, V-box this, ton versus yard, pricing per ton applied, liquid, everything.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm doing the same thing you guys are doing. We're all growing. And it's crazy what's available for you on a podcast these days, or YouTube, or and then, like you said, dialing it in locally to your local market or region with a local business owner that has been doing it for 10, 20, 30 years. You can't beat that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Proud of you. Well, I think we'll kind of button it up right here. Super appreciate you helping us off. You're going to be probably kicking this tour off. So if you're not the first one, you'll be one of the first couple. But I think you're setting the bar and the standard really high. Really excited for you. Really proud of you. Thanks for opening up and taking some time for a couple of hours on the weekend here. We get in where you fit in, and we're filming this Sunday morning, which is really appreciated. And normally it's family day and family time, but thanks for taking a couple hours of your morning and hanging out.
Thanks for coming out. I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. We'll wrap it up right here. Any final thoughts or last words? But dude, thanks so much for the time today.
That should be all. Thank you.
All right, bud. All right, cool. Hey, again, by the way, shout out to mom and dad that still let you go out the door and go make it happen. Shout out to mom. She's not throwing mom under the bus today, but super appreciate her prudence. And of course, every time you did go out the door, she's probably praying, dear Lord, make him come back with 10 fingers and 10 toes. Amen. So
yeah. What is he going to get into today?
Oh, I can only imagine. I've had my mom bail. Dude, when I was your age, I had my mom bail me out of so many stupid things, from financial to arguing with people. And she's don't get Mama Bear riled up. Amen. So Mom's always got your back.
Oh, yeah,
Mom still's got my back today. She's like, I'm your biggest fan. Actually, some of you guys have met my mom at our conference at LAL. She runs the ticket table. So go figure. But all right. Well, guys, over and out. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast episode today. Come check out the correlating, YouTube video with Riley's setup. Really, really cool time. Good 20-minute video here. You get to see all the equipment, put a face to the name and all that mess as well. That video should drop usually about 7 p.m. Eastern if you guys want to check that out. So thanks so much for the love, the support, guys, and we'll catch up with you here on the next one.
We hope you guys enjoyed this interview for the 2024 Teenager LawnTOURpreneur Series. If you'd like to see more from each guest, including a full tour of their business and lawn care setup, we invite you every Monday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern to check out the Brian's Lawn Maintenance YouTube channel. Thanks for listening, and get after it, friends.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.